When I was 12, my parents told me to man up and find my own ride home, then left me at a gas station 80 miles away. I slept behind a dumpster that night. I never spoke to them again. Until last week, when I got a wedding invite from my brother with a note from them inside. The smell of rotting cardboard and diesel fuel is burned into my memory. I was 12 years old. We were on a road trip coming back from a miserable family vacation. I had complained about being hungry and tired in the back seat. My father suddenly swerved off the highway, pulling into a desolate gas station 80 miles from our hometown. "Get out," he said. I froze. "What? You want to whine like a child? Man up and find your own ride home," my mother chimed in, not even looking up from her magazine. I stepped out of the car. I thought it was a bluff. It wasn't. I stood on the cracked asphalt and watched the taillights of their Ford Explorer disappear into the pitch black night. I had no phone, no money, just a t-shirt and jeans in the biting October cold. The gas station attendant kicked me off the property at midnight, threatening to call the cops. I was terrified of getting in trouble, so I hid. I slept behind a dumpster that night, curled into a tight ball, shivering until I couldn't feel my fingers. I cried until I dry heaved, waiting for them to come back. The next morning, a state trooper found me wandering the shoulder of the highway. He drove me home. When I walked through the front door, my parents were sitting on the couch watching TV. My dad looked at me, completely unfazed. "Learn your lesson?" I didn't say a word. I just walked to my room, shut the door, and locked it. That was the exact moment my parents died to me. I stayed quiet. I did my chores. I got an under-the-table job at 14 and saved every single penny. The morning I turned 18, I packed a single duffel bag and left while they were at work. I never called. I never texted. I changed my phone number and scrubbed my social media. I spent the next 12 years building my life from scratch. I worked brutal hours, started a successful logistics company, and bought my own house. I found absolute peace in my silence. Then last week, a thick cream-colored envelope arrived in my mail. It was a wedding invitation from my younger brother, Jake. He was only 5 when I left. Tucked inside the invitation was a handwritten note. The looping cursive belonged to my mother. "We know you've done very well for yourself. Jake's venue fell through, and we need $15,000 to save the wedding. It's time to let the past go and step up for your family. Be a man." I stared at the note. No apology, no guilt. Just a financial demand wrapped in manipulation. I didn't get angry. I didn't scream. I actually smiled. I RSVP'd yes to the rehearsal dinner. I walked into the upscale restaurant last Friday. The private room was full of Jake's future in-laws. Wealthy, respectable, high society people. My parents spotted me immediately. Their eyes lit up, dollar signs flashing. My mother rushed over, loudly playing the doting parent. "Oh, you came!" I knew you'd do the right thing. I let her hug me. I felt absolutely nothing. When it was time for toasts, I stood up and gently tapped my glass. The room went dead silent. "I haven't seen my family in 12 years, I started, keeping my voice soft, calm, and steady. But when my parents reached out, asking me to fund this beautiful wedding, I knew I had to bring a special gift. My parents beamed. Jake looked confused. I pulled a small wrapped box from my coat and handed it to Jake's fiancée. "Open it," I said. She untied the ribbon. Inside was a stack of official papers and a framed photograph. "What is this?" she asked. "That's a receipt for a $15,000 donation," I said smoothly. "Made in Jake's name to the Covenant House for Homeless Youth." The room murmured. My father's face turned violently red. "And the picture?" Jake asked, holding up a photo of a rundown gas station. "That," I said, looking dead into my father's eyes, "is the dumpster our parents left me behind when I was 12 years old. 80 miles from home with no money in the freezing cold. To teach me how to man up." You could hear a pin drop. The bride's parents stared at my mother in absolute horror. My dad stood up, his voice shaking. You're ruining your brother's night. That was a joke. We were going to come back for you." "The police brought me home the next morning," I replied, calm, unbothered, untouchable. I turned to Jake. "Congratulations on your wedding, little brother. I hope you build a better family than the one we were given." I didn't wait for a response. I turned around and walked out into the cool evening air. My phone has been blowing up all week. Relatives who ignored me for a decade are suddenly horrified. Jake's fiancée's family apparently threatened to cancel the wedding entirely, unless my parents were uninvited. They wanted me to step up and be a man, so I did.